On the night of October 22nd, silence over central Russia was shattered by the distant hum of engines and the sudden glare of explosions. A swarm of Ukrainian drones had crossed hundreds of kilometers of Russian airspace, striking one of the country's key weapons factories deep inside its own territory. What began as a few flashes in the night sky quickly turned into a firestorm that could be seen for miles. The target was not random. It was precise, deliberate, and symbolic. The Saransk mechanical plant, a facility long linked to the production of munitions and weapon components for the Russian military. For Russia, it was another blow to the image of invulnerability. For Ukraine, it was a demonstration of reach and of resolve. Reports began surfacing just before midnight. Residents in the Russian region of Mordovia described the sound of engines overhead, followed by a series of deafening blasts. Within minutes, the sky above Saransk glowed orange as shockwaves rolled across the city. Videos filmed from balconies and dashcams began appearing on social media, showing a massive blaze engulfing an industrial complex. Russian officials moved quickly to confirm that an industrial site had been attacked, though they avoided naming the exact location. Local emergency services reported fires and minor injuries, but provided no details about what was damaged. However, independent footage, verified by open-source analysts, appeared to show multiple secondary explosions consistent with the detonation of stored munitions or explosive components. Saransk lies more than 600 kilometers from Ukraine's border. For context, that is farther than the distance between Kiev and Warsaw. Striking that deep into Russian territory is no small feat. It signals the growing capability of Ukraine's domestically produced long-range drones, systems developed quietly over the past 2 years under conditions of war, scarcity, and relentless pressure. In recent months, Ukraine has expanded its drone operations dramatically. Targets once thought untouchable, oil refineries in Tatarstan, logistics depots near Moscow, even radar stations, have all been struck. The Saransk operation, however, marks a new level of precision and coordination. It demonstrates not only that Ukraine can reach deep, but that it can hit strategically valuable sites, those directly tied to Russia's ability to wage war. The Saransk mechanical plant holds significance beyond its name. Before the war, it specialized in producing detonators, fuses, and precision components used in missiles and artillery shells. In a conflict where both sides are burning through ammunition at record rates, such facilities are lifelines. Destroying or disabling even a part of their production chain can ripple across months of supply. Official Russian media described the attack as unsuccessful, claiming most of the drones were intercepted. Yet, the fires that followed told another story. Satellite imagery taken the next day revealed scorched sections of the industrial complex and emergency activity across several blocks. Local authorities briefly declared a state of emergency, urging residents to remain indoors as crews battled lingering fires. By dawn, smoke still hung over the city. Officials downplayed the event, but among ordinary Russians, concern spread rapidly. How could this happen so far from the front lines? One resident wrote online. It was a question that resonated far beyond Mordovia. From Kiev, Ukrainian defense officials offered no direct statement of responsibility. Instead, a single image appeared on social media, a Ukrainian-built drone, captioned simply, "Made in Ukraine." It was a message clear enough for anyone watching. Strategically, deep strikes like this serve multiple purposes. They disrupt production, force costly redeployments of air defenses, and chip away at the illusion of safety inside Russia's borders. Every missile battery or radar system moved to defend industrial sites is one less guarding troops on the front. But the impact is also psychological. For months, the Russian public has been told that the war is distant, fought on foreign soil, far from home. Then, without warning, explosions light up their own cities. Each new strike shakes public confidence and tests the government's ability to maintain control over the narrative. For Ukraine, these missions are both military and symbolic. They showcase technological innovation, local manufacturing, and the ability to hit back, even while under constant bombardment. Each successful operation demonstrates that ingenuity can rival firepower. Moscow's reaction followed a familiar pattern. State television condemned the attack as terrorist Pro-war bloggers called for retaliation, demanding heavier strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure. And the government announced plans to strengthen air defenses around key industrial regions. But that protection comes at a cost. Stretching defenses across thousands of kilometers dilutes their effectiveness. No system, no matter how advanced, can cover every potential target at once. And as Ukraine refines its drones and expands production, the number of possible targets only grows. The Saransk strike fits into a broader strategy: weaken Russia's ability to sustain the war by targeting the machinery that feeds it. Oil refineries, weapons plants, transport hubs all are interconnected threads in the logistics web that keeps the front lines supplied. Disrupt enough of them and the entire system begins to strain. Analysts say these operations represent a quiet but significant shift. Instead of matching Russia's artillery and missile fire shell for shell, Ukraine is focusing on precision, striking the infrastructure behind the guns rather than the guns themselves. It's a strategy born of necessity but also of adaptation. Ukraine cannot outproduce its adversary, but it can aim to outthink it. In the days that followed the strike, satellite photos circulated online and Russian commentators speculated about the extent of the damage. Some claimed production would resume within weeks, others feared it could take months to repair. Amid the uncertainty, one thing was clear: the war had once again crossed a new line. No longer confined to trenches or border towns, it now reaches deep into the industrial heart of Russia itself. And as long as Ukraine continues to develop and deploy these long-range systems, the psychological and logistical cost to Moscow will only increase. For Ukraine, the message was simple: no, where is beyond reach. For Russia, the question now is how to respond without further exposing its vulnerabilities. In wars of the past, distance offered safety. But in this new era of drones and precision strikes, distance is an illusion. The strike on the Saransk mechanical plant may not have ended the war, but it has changed its shape. It revealed that technology, when paired with determination, can pierce even the deepest defenses. And it reminded both sides and the world that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia is evolving, becoming less about territory and more about endurance, innovation, and control. The night sky over Saransk may be dark again now, but for many, that night marked a turning point, a moment when the war came home.